Welcome to the Charleston Chicks podcast, where life gets better, bolder, and a little bit bonkers. We're three fierce, fabulous, and 50-something women who've been there, done that, and got the battle scars and laugh lines to prove it. Think of us as your go-to girlfriends, dishing out real talk on friendship, love, career, and connection. Because let's be honest, life after 45 is where the magic really happens. From navigating reinvention to new careers, dating, marriage, and surviving hot flashes with style, we're here to laugh, share, and dive deep into all the messy, magical moments of midlife. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive into the conversations you actually want to have. Because at this stage, we're not holding back, and neither should you. Welcome to the Charleston Chicks. We are so happy to have you here with us. Today, we are talking about how it feels to be a woman entrepreneur. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Jen, let's start with you.
Entrepreneurship. Okay, so I first went out on my own. I was 34 years old. I was a new mom, and I had an amazing job in PR in New York City, and I loved it. But the thought of leaving my new baby and traveling each way an hour and a half, so 3 hours total, was not going to work. So I went out on my own, and I got a bunch of my clients through referrals, and some former clients came with me, and that was my first step into entrepreneurship, and that was awesome. And then when I had my second child, I did it a second time with a piano teaching business, because with two kids, I needed something that I call it like a light switch. I needed to not be working after a certain hour. And in PR, you never know when you pitch the media, you never know when they're going to call you back. And I remember being at the park with my then 2.5-year-old, and I got a call on a Friday from the New York Times, and I had to run back from the park, throw him in the stroller, and connect him with my client. And that was something that after, with having two kids, I couldn't do that anymore. And so as a pianist, I said, let me launch my piano teaching business. And that was amazing for a long while until I moved from New York to Charleston. And at 48, so for the third time, and I think this is going to be my last iteration of it, and that's an interesting thing that happens when you get older. It's like, how are all the pieces of the puzzle going to fall into place? How is all of my expertise going to make sense and make sense to me in my life? And how am I going to use this to help other people? And I launched a combination. I got certified as a life coach, and I launched my life coaching business combined with my PR strategies, proven strategies from all the years, decades actually, of doing PR. So now that's what I do, is I help female entrepreneurs and coaches to overcome fears of being visible and get booked on podcasts and in the media to build their brands. So this is my third time in it, and I've learned a lot. And I think this is actually different for me this time than it has been any other time. Social media is a huge thing now. It wasn't back in 2007. People were still very, very skeptical. I remember when I got clients in the media, and it was an online placement, and it was always like, oh, they wanted it in the hard copy. Do you guys remember that?
I do, yes.
Yeah, and now it's like, thank God it's online, because then you can share it, you can link it, all of that. It's so much more, almost, it's equally as valuable. It's almost more valuable because we get our news and everything from the online versions of the publications. And
it's immediate, within minutes.
Yes, and you don't have to wait if it's a monthly publication. It's truly old news.
Yeah, true.
So I'm going to read some statistics, because what you're saying, I think, falls in line with what's happening in the world today, particularly with female entrepreneurship. So, interestingly enough, women make up almost 50% of new entrepreneurs since 2020. And that's a jump from pre-pandemic levels that were only around 29%. So in the last 5 years, we've gone from 29% to almost 50%.
That's huge.
That's huge.
That's huge.
And most interestingly is that women age 45 to 54 are the fastest growing group of new entrepreneurs because nearly half of women entrepreneurs start after 40. And so I think that that's amazing because 45 to 50% of women business owners launch their companies after age 40.
Now, why do you think that is? I've got my reasons, but why do you think?
Well, I can tell you what studies show.
That would be great.
And then I think it would be great for us to all talk about the reasons why we decided to do what, going to work for ourselves. I certainly am right in the statistics. I started my own business after age 50. So, but the top reasons women start businesses after 45, leveraging their deep expertise, because we've spent obviously decades in our careers, right? So we have expertise to share and we decide to leverage that. Desire for autonomy after corporate careers. I definitely had a corporate career. You definitely had a corporate career. You've had corporate career. So that makes sense. Flexibility during caregiving transitions, parenting. Young children also could be parenting parents. I'm not parenting parents, but caregiving for parents as well, perhaps. Financial independence,
Yes.
and wealth building.
There you go.
And solving problems that they deeply understand because now, we have some wisdom, right?
We've spent our entire life solving problems for people.
Yeah.
I think it's also a time, if you're a mom and if you've had your children anywhere between, let's say, 25 and 35, by the time, let's say you're 50 or 45, your children are, call it 15 years old and older, and they're a lot more independent, which then your time starts to free up. So then you start to think about, okay, what's in it for us in terms of what's next for us? What other dreams do we have and what do we want to create and make sure we have happen? And I'll never forget, I had a client who was an executive compensation coach, and this was right after 9/11. And the whole pitch was how executives, they made a ton of money, but they weren't even looking for the money. They were looking to find careers and positions that they found meaningful. And so at a certain point, call it later in life, midlife, whatever you want to call us, we're looking for work that's meaningful. And I think after 20, 25, maybe 30 years of working potentially for somebody else, it's like, okay, what's in it for us and what do we want to give back? And what do we find meaningful as we look at this next stage of our life? And I don't think we're looking to job hop after 45 so much. I think in your 20s, you kind of know that you're going to job hop so that you can get a pay increase, and in your 30s as well. But as you get closer to 50 and beyond, let's be honest, you get a bit tired and it gets to be enough. It's like, you know what? I love this. I love what I'm doing. This is where I'm going to stay, and I want the work to be meaningful. And so I think that we create more of something that's in line with our values, with our beliefs, with our lifestyle. And it may not always mean maximizing compensation.
For sure.
Right? Don't you? I was just on the phone today with a client. She said she wants to work 4 days a week. She has children. She wants Friday off, and she wants to enjoy those moments with her kids. And she's also an entrepreneur. And I think that's something that, especially with the advent of the internet, the Google, come on, that's funny.
It is very funny.
It is funny.
Everybody finds their answers on Google. Well, now chat.
The Google. That we can do that we can create those things. And it's a beautiful time, I think, to be a female entrepreneur.
Do you think that the difference in pay scale for men versus women for the same position, same jobs, do you think that has anything to do with it?
Would you like me to speak to that?
Yes, let's go. I'd love to have you speak to that.
Okay, I will say, I think that women have gotten wise to building businesses to exponentially expand their ability to to earn more money. And that the wealth building statement in those reasons, I think, speaks to that. Because I certainly, when I went from my corporate job to opening my own consulting business, I had the thought that I have greater potential to make more money working for myself than I do working for a corporate entity that has restrictions on what they could potentially pay me. I work in HR, so I understand those restrictions. I understand compensation packages and market value and how pay is determined with an organization. I was sometimes the person determining those things. So I saw definitely working for myself as a way to break free of those barriers to me earning potentially more based on how much I want to work. And to your point, working in a way that was fulfilling to me personally and my own agenda and goals. So I think it's a way to break free of that.
Oh, it's definitely a way to break free.
Yeah. And so what were your reasons for starting your real estate business?
Well, I've been in business for myself for a long time, doing different types of businesses.
Yes.
My reasons for starting real estate were because I kept realizing that other realtors were making commission off of my hard work. But I love houses. I love being in the houses. I love pairing people up with a house that's perfect for them and to help them find their forever home. And it's also very lucrative. So I decided I didn't want to do what I was doing anymore, which was more in the social media world and was what I thought was 24/7. And I didn't think real estate would be quite as many hours. I wouldn't have to wake up in the middle of the night with an emergency to fix on social media. But, real estate is a lot of hours. But I love what I do. And because of it, I'm able to give my children and myself a life that is beautiful. And that's not necessarily possible in corporate jobs for women or in a structure where you're working for someone else. I think the best way for us to build wealth as women is to work for ourselves and to support other women's businesses and to build each other up.
I love that. I think it's important to note that when we start our business, we come into it with so much passion, and we think that it's like the moment. I love what Tony Robbins says: the moment of decision is where our destiny is made. Something like that. And so, I think it's important to realize that maybe the first year it's a bit of the honeymoon phase. Maybe the first year and a half, and then all of a sudden we get to the second year, and it's like, okay, now we need to maybe readjust and reevaluate set some boundaries. There's so many things that happen, and ultimately you have to have that passion that's going to carry you through those hard times. I mean, there's I think there's some sort of a curve. I know there's a statistic that I've seen, even the chart, but it's up with all the passion, and then it just plummets. And then you have to put systems in place.
Yes.
And you have to figure out lead gen, and you have to get in front of your ideal clients, in front of the audience who is right for you, and ramp up again like that with positioning and messaging, and then take the next step. So it's a series of highs and lows.
Yes.
And so as long as you have the passion that fueled the whole thing in the first place and keep going, you'll get through it. But just to know that there are a lot of highs and lows. And what was the joke? It's like I traded in working a 40-hour work week for an 80-hour work week as an entrepreneur. But that's really what it is.
What if it's a 100-hour work week?
100-hour.
That too.
That's fair too. And any entrepreneur you ask wouldn't go back. Would you? I wouldn't.
I can't.
No.
I would not.
I can't fathom going back.
Yeah.
I can't. The thought of it which blows my mind, because I've said before, I never ever thought I would ever own my own business. But now that I've taken that leap and weathered some highs and lows, that I can't imagine going back, because the freedom to have complete freedom for the most part over my schedule, my autonomy is like the number one for me. And does it mean sometimes I'm doing stuff at 11, 12 o'clock at night or on a Sunday or on a Saturday? Yeah, but I'm making that choice. I'm trading off in what works for me. And I think, dang, I don't think I could ever go back.
Well, it gives you a different life. It gives you a life you love. You get to make choices. You're not working for someone else from 9 to 5. You're not investing in someone else's life and company. You're investing in yourself, in your children, and your future.
Yes.
And I think that's such an important thing to remember. What we're doing is for the best for ourselves and our children's future. And it also helps other women come up. They watch us, they see us, and when we help them, they help others, and it's a domino effect. And I think it's amazing. And I love these statistics of more women businesses and more women entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
This is how it should be. We should be running the whole world, you know?
We certainly can. We're certainly capable.
We can. But the other thing I think about is what you were talking about, Jem, with the highs and lows. It's to remember to be grateful for the things we prayed for, the things we wanted, because in those lows, we still have those things. We're just readjusting. And we've come so much farther than we were the year before when we were working for someone else or doing something we didn't love. And surrounding yourself with amazing women and amazing people who will build you up and want to see your business succeed and want to support your business. I think as women, if we all came together and did that, oh my gosh, what an incredible difference we would make in this world.
So I want to add to the conversation about female entrepreneurship, because we own our own businesses and provide services, professional services, and things like that. And then, so that's a form of female entrepreneurship. And then there's the startup world, which is a slightly different form of entrepreneurship. And that is like starting up a whole new idea, model, product, like creating something entirely new. I do consulting. It's not new. What I do is customized from myself and my expertise, but I didn't reinvent something. But then there's women who are like starting up a whole new, basically industry, software, product, service, and those women, and I have mad respect for them, because we'll go back to my statistics that multiple studies have shown that women-founded businesses generate significantly higher revenue than men-founded businesses. And specifically speaking to female founders of startups, is that female-founded companies generate higher revenue per dollar invested, better capital efficiency, and lower burn rates, and how much fast they go through their capital. And women-led companies show comparable or better exits when funded, but receive far less capital to begin with.
That's interesting. And
so what you find there is women who are in that startup community are less funded, funded capital-wise, but yet their outcomes and profitability and revenue is statistically higher. And that's crazy to me. So I think for me, because I do work in the entrepreneur space, I work with companies that are 50 and under, startups, existing companies, but also startups. And I particularly have found it rewarding to partner with those female entrepreneurs that are in the startup space. And I have partnered with one in particular to help her build her business. And I think the message that goes along with that is on building wealth, right?
Yes.
So as a female, if we can partner together, we build wealth together, right? So that entrepreneur that I work with and I'm partnership with, so I'm not providing consulting services to her. I'm like partnering with her for equity in her company to help build that business. so that she has an exit in the future. And obviously she gets the lion's share of that because she's done the hard work of creating a product and service that is new and, to the industry that she's in. But then I also, because I worked alongside her with equity in that organization, I received that as well as part of the exit as a long-term strategy for wealth building. And I think the more women that we can do that for each other is huge.
Women supporting women. It's
Yes.
a really big deal. If we all were to support each other and help each other up, it would be incredible.
I think it's also important to note that if you're a woman out there and you're interested in starting your own business, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. I know so many women who have full-time careers who want to go into entrepreneurship. And when they come home, they'll devote 2-3 hours a night to their entrepreneurial venture, or they'll spend their weekends on it and they'll build it up and they'll see clients or do work in those off hours. And it will take them X number of months or years, and eventually they will build up enough of a clientele or a business where they can then comfortably exit their corporate careers.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to note that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. For some
Yes.
people, it can, but for others, I've seen it work very well where it's that slow, thoughtful, strategic transition into entrepreneurship. And if that's a burning desire for you, I always say go for it. You've got to answer the call.
Yeah. And the female entrepreneur that I partner with is my age. And she started her company in the last few years after a career, actually, in government and security. So
That's pretty cool.
it's like you said, it's not an all or nothing thing, and it's never too late.
No, it's never too late. It's only too late when we're dead. I mean, that's the truth. It's never too late. Nothing is too late. We have the power within us to do it all, to create anything we want, and to be successful as long as we stick to our goals, listen to our gut, and do the right things.
I love that. And actually, at 48, I thought I was too old. And so I had to slay that dragon. And how did I do that? I had to go out there and I made myself find evidence, find proof of others who have achieved greater things later in life so that I could then feel like, okay, I could do it too.
I have achieved more in the last year and a half of my life financially than I have in probably 5 years prior combined. We can do anything we set our minds to. Surround yourself with great humans, with people who are ambitious, who want to support you, and you can do anything. So ladies, give me some takeaways for today. What's the best piece of advice you can give to a woman who is in the position maybe you were a handful of years ago and wants to start her own business?
Know that it's, like we said, never too old, it's not too late. And if you have that burning desire, I believe that burning desire does not leave us until we take action on that desire. And so if you need to get help to start it. If you need to spend time outside of your career, if you have a career that is very demanding, maybe it's an hour a day, an hour a week, maybe it's on the weekend, but start small, but just start.
My advice is definitely put yourself out there and to find partners who want to. I'm one of those people. I'm not a startup founder. I don't have this incredible idea or product or service to enter the market, but I have a desire to be part of building something with someone, and I'm not alone. So as a female entrepreneur, find those people who want to partner, who understand your vision, and are willing to come alongside you and help you grow your business. Because being a solo entrepreneur is hard enough, and being a female solo entrepreneur is really, really difficult, but doesn't have to be that way. So find a partner.
Okay. Well, for me, it was a little bit different because I started off with a partner and that didn't work so well. We were not aligned in the same way. So my advice would be go with your gut, believe in yourself, 100% believe in yourself, and know that anything you want is possible if you set your mind to it. And surround yourself with amazing women who are growing and want the best for you.
Yeah. And I'll just say Charleston in particular has an amazing community of business women who are conquering the business world and the world in general. So if you're in Charleston in particular, you're lucky.
And if you don't know where to turn for this, send us a message. We've got lots of phenomenal resources.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us today. We are grateful for you, grateful that you spend time with us and take time out of your day for us. Have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.